I'm a small group leader for some high school girls and like trying to be there for them, trying to be there for my husband, trying to be there for my children. It's just trying to be what I need to be for everybody. And at the same time, still find time to rest myself and do things for myself so that I don't get burnout trying to be what I need to be for everybody else.
But I feel like the older I've gotten, the more I've like had to have those conversations with not only myself, but with my kids too. Like we can't do everything.
There are seasons where I just understand that this is going to feel busy. This is going to feel maybe hectic sometimes. Welcome to Let's Talk About That, the podcast where we dive into conversations about life and share stories of faith. We're thrilled to be on this journey with you. Whether you're a longtime listener, someone who calls the Orchard home, or you're just stopping by, Let's Talk About That is your space to explore, reflect, and connect. Join us as we navigate the intricacies of faith, spiritual formation, and daily life as we invite guests to share their stories with us. So grab a cup of coffee, find a comfortable space, and let's do this together. This is Let's Talk About That, where you can be encouraged and inspired by God's work in our lives.
All right. We are back with episode 90 of Let's Talk About That. So that's cool, right? 90 episodes in, 10 away from 100. That's a thing, you know. Once we started this, didn't know that we'd make it to 100, but here we are. And for our 90th episode, we have a special edition of the Momcast. So we have our Momcast host extraordinaire, Miss Mary Beth Everett, with us this morning.
Hi.
There it is. That's it. That's it. We got Mary Beth here. We have Miss Kaci Young making her return to the podcast.
Hello, hello.
How are you, Kaci?
I'm good.
Doing good. And then we have Miss Erin Shrock, who has promised that she will not make me bleep her out this podcast.
Hey, everybody.
I mean,
Control that tongue.
watch yourself, Erin. Watch yourself. The censor button gets us in trouble. Last time Erin was on the podcast, somebody texted me and says, why is there an explicit label next to the podcast? There really wasn't, but it freaked Erin out for a minute. It was great.
Y'all are so mean to me.
We are not, Erin. We could not, any of us, get paid without you. So we are glad that you guys are here. But we are here for the Momcast. It's been a while since we've had the moms sit down and talk about some things. And we figured, you know, with school getting back going, things getting in the swing of things, it would be just a good time to catch up on what's going on and have some discussions about a few different things. So catch us up. How's life going, transitioning from school or summer to now school's back? How's the transition going in the households around here?
I personally love schedules, so it's great for me. My 16-year-old might think otherwise, but I think it's been pretty smooth. He's got a pretty hard semester right now with a bunch of some college, high school, that kind of thing. But he's not enjoying the transition. And then our little guy, he's started to a new school in Hawaii. So he's done really well. Great transition. So far, so good.
So Aiden is like, this is the first year he started driving himself to school.
Yes.
Right? So it's a full year.
It's glorious.
So I was going to say, help me out. What does the morning look like now when you don't have to take kids to school?
It's wonderful. I just usually if I don't hear him out and about getting ready about 7:30, I'll shoot him a text and be like, hey, are you up? And then if I don't hear a response, because I'm usually getting ready at the same time. So if I don't get a response in about 10 minutes, then I'm pounding on the door you got to get up. But no, it's great. I just make sure he's up and that's it.
That's a different world where you text your kid to see if they're
right.
Yeah.
In the same house.
To be fair,
my dad yelling across the room, time to get up. Yelling across the house.
I'm in the midst of getting ready myself. So it's just easier to be just shoot a text and make sure he's up. And as long as he responds, we're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
I like it. What about you guys?
Well, we haven't been late yet, so.
Was that a heavy emphasis on the yet, or?
We've came close a few times coming around the corner on two wheels, but yeah, we haven't been late yet.
Do you like the summer with the boys around, or are you glad when the boys go back to school in the fall?
No, I love the boys home. I dread school coming.
Man,
I love them being home and just not having
I'm gonna be honest, I can't really relate to that.
No.
I like doing stuff during summer, but I gotta say I'm with Erin. I like my routine of them being at school and knowing when they're gone and okay, now I can do my thing and
yeah. No, we enjoy being home together. So
Yeah.
Yep, I miss them whenever they're not home. Even though sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish they were at school today. But the majority of the time I do enjoy them being home.
Well, I would say that makes me feel bad as a dad, but it really doesn't. So. What about you, Mary Beth? You guys have had some different school adjustments.
We have. And I have to say, I'm kind of like in between. I enjoy the routine a little bit of the school year. I'm not a morning person, and nobody in our household is a morning person. So mornings,
not one of y'all is a morning person.
Not one of us, legitimately.
Really?
Yes.
The dog has got to be a morning person.
No.
Really? No. How do you have a lazy blue heeler?
When he's sleeping and all of his people are fine, he's fine.
All right, fair enough.
But I mean, as soon as the first person is up, he's up.
Well, hold on. I guess we should say your dog is semi-famous now.
He is. She's gone viral. I just told her that the other day. I'm like, one of your TikToks has gone like viral.
Yes, and it's the dog. Well, help me with the dog's name. I can't remember.
Rip.
So Rip has gone viral. How many likes do you have on that one TikTok of him?
I'm gonna have to look this up. I haven't seen.
It was in the thousands.
Like it's a lot.
It was like in the thousands for sure.
Like the only thing that cracks my For You page on TikTok is golf, church, fantasy football, stupid comedy. Right? Like, those are like the only things that crack my For You page. Except this viral video of an Australian blue heeler from Lake City, Florida. Wait, that's Mary Beth.
Yeah. So this feels weird. Okay, so there are 477,849 people who have seen the video.
What? But how many likes on that one?
There have been 27,000 likes, 251 comments, 1,101 shares, and 660 saves.
Oh my gosh, let me see. I gotta see this.
How much money have you made off of this TikTok?
None.
What? That's so lame.
It's because I don't have very many followers. However, from that, I started, I don't even know, like 20 followers, and they're people I knew.
Yeah.
And I never posted anything. And now I have 500 random people. But I had to change my profile picture because it was my family. It was of like
and
me.
So you want to switch it up, yeah.
It was of me, my husband, and my kids. And I like some of the comments on there are wild.
Yeah.
There's
if
like
you've never been in a TikTok comment section, it's wild.
Yes. There's like people there's strangers arguing about dogs in the comments. Yes.
Well.
And then somebody made a comment.
I saw it, but I don't think I liked it or followed you.
Thanks a lot, Chips.
Play why she's not getting paid.
Right? Yeah.
You're one.
He's the reason. No.
My bad.
But somebody made a comment about my family. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to change
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Chad ready to go throw hands?
Yes. You could tell, like, it was a family picture of us at a work event for him, and he was in uniform. And so they made a comment like blue heeler, cop husband, something checks out. And then they said, how many Stanleys do you have?
Whoa.
And I don't really respond to the mean comments, but you're talking about my husband and my family's in the picture. And I just said, none. I'm sorry if I ruined your comment.
Do you really not have any Stanleys?
I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't. I have.
How many Yetis does Chad have?
Several. They didn't ask Yetis.
That's right.
They didn't ask about Yetis. They said Stanleys, and I don't. And I needed to just take the air out of his balloon because he felt like he was doing something with his comment, and he actually wasn't. So.
Yeah, that's right. Mary Beth be going 10 toes down right now. Come at me. I love that. Fire me up. What were we talking about?
School.
So that was a school year rabbit trail right there.
That was Hall of Fame. So, let's talk about that rabbit trail right there. Hall of Fame.
But no, so school year is going pretty good. We actually have gotten into a pretty good morning rhythm as somebody who admittedly has gotten a truancy letter before because
Wait, what? You taught. You were a teacher at the school.
I know. And we were never tardy because I had to be there at a certain time before school started. And then Carter started school, and that changed some things for us. Because we had, I don't want to say we had 19 tardies one year. But
how do you get a truancy letter for tardies?
because you're only allowed a certain amount for the whole year.
Yeah, but
without a doctor's note.
Yeah, but truancy is like you're not bringing your kid to school.
Yes, because they're missing valuable learning time, Chip.
In that, like,
oh yeah, first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because literally all of so the tardy bell rings at 7:40. I'm a little salty about it. Like, I get it because I was in the school system before, and I understand they have to send it to me. But the tardy bell rings at 7:40, and all of our tardies were getting out of the car as the bell was ringing, or we were within like 1 or 2 minutes of the tardy bell. So, you know.
Yeah.
But
Mr.,
we
how
have
many
not.
Stanleys do you have? Didn't know you've got a truancy letter.
He did not. No, but we don't have any tardies. We've done pretty well.
Nice.
We are doing school a little different this year. Our youngest two are still in elementary school, and they are still at the same school that we've been at forever. I taught there for 10 years, and they're having a great year. Our oldest is in 6th grade, and we are trying something new this year with virtual homeschool.
So how's that going?
Really well, actually.
Yeah.
Way better than I anticipated. He has been really responsible, has had a good attitude about all of it. He gets up with us in the morning, doesn't complain about it. Like, he's surprised me.
Yeah. You and I had the conversation that we did that with our oldest son for a semester while he was waiting to get into the school where Leanne teaches. And it was better than I thought in a lot of ways, except for math. My goodness.
Yeah.
Math is hard to do virtually, and you have to go back and relearn middle school math to help them do it. And I'm like, I can't remember how to figure out the cosine of whatever this is.
Thank the Lord we're not there yet. We're in decimals and fractions and percentages and all that, which I'm still having to reteach myself how to do because I haven't done that on paper since I was in middle school, probably.
Yeah.
So that's the only one he really needs help with.
Well, you know the secret to being able to help with that, right?
What?
Chat GPT.
Well, that
I've used Chat GPT before.
There's apps out there that you just, math apps.
Yeah. I'll have to get one probably before the year's over. But so far, so good.
All right. Not bad. Not bad. So what is, for all of you, we'll just throw this out there, what is the part of the morning routine that you just hate the most when it has to come to getting ready for work, getting kids out to school? What's the part of the morning routine you hate the most?
Waking up.
All right. I guess that was low hanging fruit, Erin.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
I'm with Mary Beth. I am not a morning person. So I have to hit snooze at least one time for my mental health. And I usually accidentally hit the stop instead of the snooze. And I end up oversleeping pretty much every morning. And hence why Chip, don't fire me ever for being 5 to 10 minutes late.
Have you guys seen, there was a meme going around and it looked like a real text conversation where like boss had text somebody, hey, are you okay? Why are you running late? Are you still coming in? And they just sent a screenshot where their calculator was set to 7 a.m.
Oh, yes.
And he said, I understand. I'll see you when you get here. Yeah. So that's the worst. So you say you're not a morning person. Are you a night person?
No, I'm a midday person. Listen.
I thought you were an early go to bed too.
Yeah. I mean, usually 10:30, 11, I'm out by then. But I will say, like, if you give me like a 1:30, 2 p.m., nobody's in the office, and I can hammer out some stuff about
Brother,
midday.
That's my red zone. Like right the middle of the day like that, right after lunch, I'm still petitioning that we create a nap room in the office because I'm done. Like that we have a 1:00 meeting on Tuesdays and everybody knows Chip's not making it through this meeting. By the end of the meeting, my chair swivels to my iPad and I just start playing on the iPad to stay awake. So, all right. What about you guys? What is your least favorite part of the morning routine?
Getting the kids up and moving and out of bed. And when I say kids, I mean our two youngest, Carter and Lila Kate.
They don't like to get moving?
No. Oh, man. No.
They just you got to go make sure they're up, make sure they're physically out of bed. Will they go back into the bed?
They won't. But they'll fall back asleep on the couch. They'll drag their blanket.
Yeah.
And fall back asleep on the couch.
Yeah, Chasen does the little look like a hermit thing while he's eating a cereal.
And
with
it's
a
just like
blanket
wrapped
over his
around.
head.
Yes. It's a struggle in the morning to get them up and moving. Once we're in the car, they're fine. But getting them out of the bed, dressed, eat, into the car, all of that's not fun.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Feel that.
That's why literally on Fridays, I created Donut Friday just to give us one day of the week where they're excited to get out of the bed.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. I like it.
Yeah, that's the same for us. Just I've been intentional about trying to wake up early in the morning to get things ready and get the day going because I'm not a morning person either. And so
is anybody a morning person?
I feel like they lie about it if they are.
I think it's as you age, your body can't stay in bed as long. And that's why they're morning people all of a sudden.
Dang it, I'm a morning person. And you're 6 months older than me, Erin.
You lie. You were too late with that one, sucker.
I couldn't get the censor button there quick enough. Yeah. No, I am a morning person, but 100%. It has been the last 10 years. There was not a year in my 20s that I would have told you I was a morning person. That wasn't a thing. But there is this pressure when you're a young pastor in a rural blue collar community like Mayo where I was pastoring. It didn't matter what time somebody called you. It's we could be 2:30. Hey, did I wake you up? No, I was already up studying the Bible this morning. Of course you didn't wake me up. There was always this thing you don't sleep in. So, but no, now it's a reality. Morning is kind of more of my thing. But I will say my thing though that I hate making the boys lunch in the morning. Since Leanne's back teaching and she teaches where the boys are at, she takes them to school. So I don't have to take them to school anymore. I happily trade off being the dad that gets them up, gets some breakfast, fixes lunch. I'm great with that because I don't have to take them to school. I despise pick up and drop off lines. Can't stand them. So she picks them up. She drops them off. That's great. But I hate doing the lunches in the morning. And you want to know what's so bad about that? I don't do healthy lunches for them. Everything's in a bag or a bag. It's like chips or cookies or crackers. It's not like I'm making this wholesome homemade lunch that's taking forever. It's just taking stuff out of a box and putting it in their bag and making a sandwich. And I hate it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It takes me 2 minutes and I hate it. I despise it every morning.
It just feels like a chore.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm can't you just get pizza at school or something? I don't know.
My kids happily eat school lunch. And I am thrilled about it.
Our boys loved school lunch until at Belmont now where they're at, they don't do school lunches. You have to bring the lunch. And so that's why they're doing it now.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy only having to pack a lunchbox a few times a year.
Yeah. Which...
Yeah.
School, and we've talked about this, we'll shout out Mary Beth on here as our kids coordinator in Lake City, going to kids camp every year. And the number one recruiting tool we have to get adults down to kids camp is the last 3 or 4 years. There's 1 year where it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But the last several years, at least once while we're down there, they do old school cafeteria pizza for lunch.
My favorite.
Oh,
that tastes exactly the same.
Do they serve it with a corn?
No.
They did 1 year.
I feel like it's French fries.
Yeah,
I feel like they do French fries, but it literally tastes exactly the same as school.
You know where you can get that in town? Fish Heads.
Really? Oh,
Fish
I do
Heads
think somebody's told me that
on
before.
the kids menu. They serve the old school pizza.
Every day?
Yeah.
Welp.
Every day except Sunday and Monday. They're closed Sundays and Mondays.
I know what's happening now around the Parker house. That's great. I love that. But yeah, no. So I love the cafeteria lunches. Fun fact, my great grandma was lunch lady over in Perry. And man, lunch ladies, there's two kinds of lunch ladies. They're the meanest people God ever made or the sweetest people God ever made.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it just depends on the kid which one's which. Probably both, but it just depends on who the kid is.
Yeah.
But you always, when you're a chubby kid like Chip, you had to learn how to suck up to the lunch lady so that you can get that extra slice of pizza when you needed it. You know what I mean? So, how about this second question? All right. Getting the kids out the door. That's tough. Get them to school, whatever. You all serve in various capacities on Sunday mornings. Better or worse getting them ready? Or how about this? Which is harder, getting ready for everybody ready for church, getting everybody ready for school?
School.
Well, in my defense, I don't have to get my kids up and ready for church on Sunday mornings. Cameron does that. So
Because you have to get here early.
yes,
Because you'll get yelled at if you're not here early.
yes, I will.
Yeah, I can't believe that anybody would yell at you guys.
I know.
It's crazy.
So I have to be here early. Cameron normally gets the boys up and gets them dressed. But I would say probably school still.
Yeah. Yeah. But you, Erin? Because you were a single mom and working at church on Sunday mornings.
Yes,
And
for a while. Yeah. Because I will definitely have to go back to those days. Because right now, honestly,
Right now, she's like, life is so easy.
Seriously. I mean, when they get to be like late teens, they're driving themselves to school, they get themselves ready, they get themselves breakfast. Like, you just got to make sure they're up and like, hey, when it's getting close to getting out the door, like, hey, you got to leave in like 5 minutes, you know, so you're going to be late. It's great.
look, there's a tipping point. And all you parents with young kids, when your kids are old enough to stay at home by themselves, even for a few hours, game changer.
Yes.
When they're old enough to start doing everything for themselves, game changer.
Yeah.
Not yet to the driving themselves in the Parker household. We're a little bit behind Aiden, but
Yeah. Honestly, I will say when they start driving themselves, like a whole new set of fears unlocks in your life. And so it's definitely great. But at the same time, like you're now, every time they leave the house, it is like this
Like
Yeah.
a pit.
yeah, just of like, and even for us, Aiden has like a 3-mile drive to school. It's really not that far, but knowing how crazy people are, there is some fear
Yeah.
anytime he gets in the truck by himself. So
well, and on Sundays, you know, you don't have any particular Sunday responsibilities at this time.
Right.
And, you know, Branford has one service right now because they have the biggest room out of all of us
right.
where they meet at 10:30 and you're always there at 10:30 on the dot, right?
absolutely.
Always there.
Literally, like sometimes they'll be like, hey, did you catch announcements? And I'm like,
I
Nope.
did not.
I'm like, I got there during the first song.
I did not.
But
Well, that's a little bit of what I wanted to kind of lean into a little bit because you all serve at church, you work at church, you're married, you have friends. How do you balance everything when you're trying to be a parent, you're trying to serve at church, you're trying to do things as a family, you're trying to make time in your relationships? Like, how do you balance everything? And I know that's a big question. That's a big question. So let's just start with, where do you struggle the most to find balance in your life?
I think for me, I don't know if it's one particular area. I think a lot of this is self-imposed, like, you know, but I feel like so much I'm failing at like being what I need to be for everybody in my life, you know, and I'm a small group leader for some high school girls and like trying to be there for them, trying to be there for my husband, trying to be there for my children. And I think my biggest struggle is not necessarily in one particular area. It's just trying to be what I need to be for everybody. And at the same time, still find time to rest myself and do things for myself so that I don't get burnout trying to be what I need to be for everybody else. So I think that can definitely be a massive struggle for me.
Where do you think those expectations of what you need to be for everybody else comes from?
Just self-imposed expectations from
I
culture.
think they
sometimes
can be self-imposed, but I do think there are external.
Absolutely. Like, you know, I think, I mean, I feel like such a broken record sometimes with social media, but I do think, you know, I'm a 40-year-old woman. Like I logically know, like we're seeing the highlight reels, you know, but like it's still sometimes I think subconsciously, even you don't even realize that like it's putting those thoughts into your mind, like, oh, I should be doing that for my kids, or I should be doing that. You know, my husband and I should be doing that, or, you know, and so I think culture and just
influencers like Mary Beth put a lot of pressure.
I mean, you know, her dog went viral. Like, I'm like,
My dog, guys.
You know,
I'm not even in it.
Right. You know, we got a cat now. I'm going to be like, let's go, Indy, step up. We need to be viral. Right? So,
yeah, no. So, you feel the pressure of the expectations of everybody else. And to be honest, I think sometimes we feel expectations that aren't real, but that does not change the fact that there are expectations that are real, right? There are, like you serve in student ministry, there's an expectation, right? You are a wife, there's an expectation. You're a mother, there's an expectation. You have a job, there's an expectation. So there really are expectations. And then you say trying to balance that with rest. How do you know if you've hit that balance?
if I'm not feeling the stress all the time, I feel like I've found some semblance of balance. Because I can tend to like wear my stress pretty bad, and it'll wear on me. So I feel like if I'm coasting along in a week and I haven't felt any moments of like, the 50 tabs open in my brain seem like a little calm right now. Like I feel like I'm got some semblance of like, okay, this week we're doing all right. Like we're being what we need to be. We're doing what we need to do. We're still getting like, I work out, 4 times a week with a group. And, like that is what I use for my time. It's not necessarily rest.
So you guys talk about morning people are like weird for being morning people. I'm saying people who's like, oh yeah, I feel so great after I exercise. Feel so much energy. That's the weirdest thing in the world to me. Who feels great after they exercise?
It's not direct. It's not directly after. It's like an hour
when you're sore.
No,
physically,
like an hour.
I'm miserable.
I love being sore after a workout.
Yeah.
Y'all are wild.
I don't feel great when I'm gasping for air on all fours in front of the fan because I'm dying, but I feel great knowing that I just did something good for my body, even if in the moment it felt like torture. I know mentally I just did something good for myself.
Okay. Say so. But all right. So seriously, here's kind of why I want to have this conversation around balance, because there's all these expectations, some real, some not, right? Some external, some internal. And then there is needing to balance that with rest so that we can be healthy. You can be healthy as an individual, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. But the gauge that we use to determine if we achieve that is really subjective. It's all about how I feel in the moment, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's why this idea of balance is so difficult and why we have to have conversations like this, because it's like we don't even know if we've hit it, because you can't say if you do this, you will have balance.
Yeah.
Because it changes so much.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's, I don't think seasonal is the right word. But I feel like there's times where I feel like I have good balance, and then there's times where I feel like I don't in some areas. But I feel like what's helped me with that feeling and not feel bad about it if I don't. I mean, you still have that like mom guilt or wife guilt or I don't know, whatever, guilt.
I want to circle back to that because I want to understand that more.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Continue. Okay. So I do feel like there are seasons, I don't really know if that's the right word for it, but where I just understand and know that this is going to feel busy. This is going to feel maybe hectic at sometimes. And
so just mentally preparing.
Like it's coming. It's
baseball season.
Right. It's baseball season.
It's baseball.
Our weeks are about to feel very busy and very full. So it's gonna be okay if I get backed up on laundry. It's gonna be okay if we're eating like the same dinners on rotation. There's gonna be busy seasons with work where maybe I need to be gone for certain nights of the week or things that we have coming up. And so I feel like if I mentally prepare myself that those seasons are coming, which you can't always do that because life happens and things
there's
come
sometimes
up.
you can't prepare for
There's sometimes you can't prepare. But I think if I mentally prepare myself for it, I'm not as hard on myself during those periods of time, because I know that like this specific thing needs my attention the most right now. Not saying that that specific thing is always the most important thing in my life, because obviously my family is the most important thing in my life. But this specific thing, for whatever reason, needs my attention in this season.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, that's a good way to look at it and think about it. And the picture that I have in my mind when you're talking about it is we're describing balance, but it's not like balance as you sit something, somewhere and it's balanced and it just stays. Yeah. It's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Like you have to constantly.
Well, because not everything holds the same weight.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you have to think through that, and you have to be okay with some things not falling, because I don't think anything in my life deserves to fall. but you have to be okay with maybe something sinking.
Yeah. Well, it's like the spinning the plates, right? Some of them may get wobbly because you're having to spin another one, but yeah,
but they're still spinning.
I like that. What about you, Kaci?
So I will say that for me, like I'm Erin, like I'm a scheduled person. So like having a calendar really helps me kind of juggle everything. Is
it like a shared calendar or your calendar?
No, me and Cameron have a shared calendar.
On your phones, or do you got one of those like cool touchscreen calendars?
No.
I may say that because Leanne wanted to do a calendar and I saw that as an opportunity to buy a new gadget. And so I was like, hey, they make these.
No, they do look really cool, but on our phones, because we get reminders like the day before, 30 minutes before. So just things like that. Like if I don't have a reminder, or if like even in everyday things, like we have jujitsu today, we have band practice on Thursdays, like just certain things I have in there. And I feel like sometimes if now Weston's in archery, so on Mondays he has practice, and then he wanted to try wrestling, which thank God he kind of let that go because we have other things throughout the week we're already so busy with that. I just didn't know if I could add that back onto our plate.
He wanted to do wrestling, or he wanted to do wrestling?
Wrestling.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because in my experience, a lot of young guys, they try out for wrestling and then find out, no, this ain't wrestling.
It's wrestling. But I've noticed that like I've had to, whereas used to, I could say, all right, let's do this. You want to try this? Let's do it. Like, that's fine. And it would overwhelm me because I would add all that onto my plate and try to balance that with everything else that we had going on. But I feel like the older I've gotten, the more I've like had to have those conversations with not only myself, but with him, like my kids too. Like we can't do everything. Mm-hmm. We can't say yes to everything. Like you're going to have to see what we have going on and say, all right, this might not be feasible with our schedule now. Like maybe we can drop something after this schedule's over or this season's over, and then come back to that. Because if you don't say no to everything and you're constantly saying yes, like you're going to get overwhelmed. And that's where I was with a lot of things, like just getting stressed out with all of that.
Well, because I think there's so many options we have nowadays. Like that's the biggest difference, I think, from when we were growing up than today, is there's just so much more available. So for instance, I played baseball. I love baseball. But I also played football and I played on the golf team for a couple seasons, but it was because none of those sports existed year round.
Yeah. Right.
Today you can do sports year round. You know, there's not seasons to it. You know, we didn't have jujitsu in Perry. There was a guy who taught karate, right? That was it. If you want to do something, that was what we got. You know, like there just wasn't as many options as we have. And so now you have to say no more, but that's because you're presented with so many more opportunities. I think that's why it's not like we're doing less because we're saying no more. It's just because there's so many options out there.
And the times never seem to align perfectly. Like I know he wanted to try baseball, and I'm like, Weston, you know, baseball, like, but that doesn't get out until late. Like we're not going to be getting home till super late. Like, are your grades going to suffer because of that? So it's just, I've learned in that season, like in order to keep myself like in a comfortable spot and not feel overwhelmed, that I have to keep my schedule, keep my calendar and everything. But I also have to say no to more things now as my kids get older and just things like that. So we're not bombarded with all these extracurriculars and
It's not just extracurricular opportunities, it's extracurricular obligations.
Yes.
Carter, I was going to say, every single time a flyer comes home in their folder for a whatever season or sport or whatever it is, Carter wants to do it.
Carter had that FOMO bad.
He does. He wants to do it. The Cub Scouts came and talked to the school the other day, and he came home with a sticker and was like, Mom, we got to be at the cafeteria at 9:30 tonight. And I was like, I don't think you have the time right.
He stopped jujitsu practice to come tell Mary Beth this.
He did.
He told the coach.
He stopped practicing whatever.
He told the coach. He's like, and I heard the coach was like, is this something you need to talk to her about now? And he's like, yes.
100%.
He came over to tell me that we had to be at the cafeteria at the school tonight at 9:30 if we wanted to join Cub Scouts. And I said, buddy, I think you have the time wrong. I don't think it's 9:30. It's
I was
probably
gonna say at 9:30 at night. I don't think they had a big turnout.
no. And also, like, that's a big commitment. This is not just like go do fun things. These are meetings we have to go to. This is not going to be as fun as they made it sound in their presentation. And they gave you a sticker and a flyer with lots of cool pictures on it. But I know it's not what you think.
But Mom,
We can do that at home.
Well, I even asked them. I was like, because Lila Kate was all about it too when she got in the car. I was like, what? Tell me what it is that they talked about today that you want to do. And they're like, we can go camping. And I was like, we can do that at home. We have all this stuff. Well, we can roast marshmallows. We can do that too. We can go fishing. We got a pond. We can do all of the things.
You're the we got that at home, Mom.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am. I am.
We got that at home. We got that at home.
We got that at home. We got Cub Scouts at home.
Until it's chicken nuggets and
You'll
she's eating it in the car right along and hiding the
Mary Beth is the one who turned us on to the Aldi Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets. There.
Yes. Very good.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, so here's the question then. If you've got to learn to say no to things to make sure you have a semblance of balance in your life, that you can keep those plates spinning, how do you decide what to say yes to? Because you got to say yes at some point, right? Because the goal of life isn't to say no, it's to say yes to the right things. So how do you decide what you say yes to?
I think if it's something for yourself, that's easier to discern. If it's something for
Double click that.
So I don't know how to unpack it really because it makes sense in my head, but I'm trying to process how I'm going to make it make sense to y'all. So
yeah, Mary Beth told us before the podcast that it takes her 4 to 5 business days to process sometimes.
It
So
does.
she's processing on the fly now.
I'm a processor.
No, you're a deep thinker.
I'm a deep thinker and I don't like to say it unless I know that it's going to come out right.
Yeah, I'm not even sure where I'm going when I start sentences
Yeah.
sometimes.
So I can kind of, if while you think about this,
Yeah.
for me, like saying yes to things that basically are going to fill my cup up, so that way I can fill other cups up, like my kids or my husband's. For me, that's going to the gym in the mornings after drop off. So those types of things that I know are going to help fill me up are going to be, it's going to help things be easier.
You feel like it's going to help you be a better mom. and a better wife.
Yes. Because I'm going to be happier and have in a better mood going to the gym in the morning versus not going to the gym in the morning. Cause then I'm like beating myself up about it, you know?
All right. Well, so let me play devil's advocate a little bit. Then why don't you just do stuff for you 12 hours a day if it makes you better?
Cause then I feel selfish.
Well, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So and that's my point. There's a balance there too.
Yeah.
So how do you even figure that out? Is it like, okay, you get one thing or do you get X number of hours? Like, because, and we've already said, it's all about feel. It's subjective. But how do you know when you cross that line between healthy self-care and, okay, now I'm just being selfish?
I don't know. I feel like you can be either way in the opposite direction, and that's easy to see. But I think it's when you're there at that line that would be hard to figure out.
I think you're spot on, because I think we all know a wreck when we see it.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's tough to see coming sometimes.
Yeah.
Because most people don't intentionally end up there.
Right.
So I think, trying to figure out what it looks like before it gets to that point is where it's really hard. And I don't know that I have a cut and dry answer for it. I think, boundaries are a part of it. I think inside of a family, conversations are a part of it, like full transparency. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. You may have heard me mention pickleball once or twice, and there was a time when Leanne was like, Chip, you can't say yes every time somebody wants to play pickleball, and I was like, that's a valid point. How do I decide which times I say yes to, And she was like, well, let's start with, if me and the boys are at home, how about not saying yes then? Yeah. And I was like, all right, fair enough, So, and that's kind of, an easy one to see, but it was one of those things. Hey, this is something that I had on my schedule that I did, as, hey, when I'm playing pickleball, golf, whatever, I'm just thinking about this. So for me, it's a mental break, but there's even a place you take that too far, because you're like, okay, now I'm just doing it all the time. And it went from self-help to selfish in my life. And I had to rein that back. But I don't think I would have seen it in my own life without Leanne being willing to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it for me. Any other thoughts about that? Like, how do you decide what you say yes to?
I think when it's something for your child, you have to look at your schedule. Like, is it going to add just another thing that adds to the craziness of the week? I know for me, like, schooling's crazy important for me with my kids. So, like, is it going to affect their grades? Is the late nights, are these things going to affect their
We're going to set the podcast world on fire right here. Because how important is schooling really? Is it super important that your kids make straight A's or make honor roll?
No, not for me. As a former teacher, I thought it would be, but it's not. What's important to me is that they are doing their best.
Yes.
If they've given their best and it's not an A, I'm failing, that's not good. But like, if they've given their best and it's not an A, I'm still okay with that.
Yeah, and you're right. Hear me what I'm saying. It's like, school's not important. You don't have to give it the attention, time, whatever. But I do think that in the American education system, we've idolized school to a certain extent and also said, well, hey, school has to come before everything. Does it? Or do you, hey, C's get degrees, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
my life motto.
Like, and when I said, does it affect, like, I am full believer in, like, extracurriculars are 100% needed. I think that is needed to help your child develop into a well-rounded adult as being a part of a team at some point, those kind of things. So I'm not saying like that's the end all be all. Will it affect their grades? If so, then there it's out. No, it's just, if this isn't in addition to the two other extracurriculars they already have going on. So that's my kind of thing is I wasn't saying like it's, but I'm a big, like, my child, I know he, like, the kid, I hate to admit this, he's probably smarter than I was in high school. I mean, he's crazy smart. And so I do have an expectation for him because I know what he's capable of. And so, like, it goes with what Mary was saying. I know what he's capable of. So if he pops out with a D, I'm like, what happened? Yeah. What in the world?
To me, it's about pushing yourself, creating discipline, creating accountability, which, that's a fun dynamic when mom teaches at the school and can see all your grades and what assignments you've turned in or not, because, both of the Parker boys, we been blessed. They're really smart kids, but as often can happen with really smart kids.
Yes.
They don't care.
Yes.
And they forget and don't turn crap in. And, and so it's like, to me, the A's, the B's, that's great. Do your good job. You do a good job on it, whatever. To me in school right now, it's like, are you being responsible? Mm-hmm. Are you being accountable? Mm-hmm. Because those are skills that are going to transfer over in life more than, figuring out the radius of a circle. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hate to say it, but like, there's just some stuff that you learn in school that I don't really care if you have that down cold. I have care down cold that you know how to meet deadlines and that you know how to manage your time and that you know how to do what you're supposed to do and turn it in and do quality work. But I'm not going to freak out if you got a date wrong about, the Korean War.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, I do think for me, the importance of the conversation about balance is, it is an act. It's a feel. It's not a perfect place that we can get to. Your life will never be balanced. You just have to keep working to balance your life and keep it all spinning. But I want to circle back because Mary Beth, you said this a while ago. And I don't know that I fully understand. I've heard it thrown around, but I've never heard anybody actually define it. You say mom guilt, and every mom I've heard, like, I think they know what you mean when you say that. Help those of us who aren't moms understand. Y'all help me. What is mom guilt?
It's just like this feeling of you're not doing enough, or you could be doing so much better in certain areas. And so you feel guilt around that. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I mean, that's pretty. Just feel guilt around it, but I wouldn't say. I think I've said this on a different podcast when we we talked a little bit about mom guilt is to me, there's a difference between mom guilt that I'm feeling because of comparison, whether that be through social media or through like real people, real moms who I know. But then there's what I wouldn't call mom guilt, and I would actually call conviction.
Amazing distinction. Push into that.
Yeah. So just like Chip was saying earlier, there are expectations that we have for ourselves and that other people have for us. There are expectations with our role as a mom and a wife that we should uphold and we should hold in high regard. And there are times, because we are people, that we are going to fail at that. And I think if you're feeling guilt over that, I wouldn't call that mom guilt. I would call that conviction.
I think that's a really good distinction. That's, you know, conversations I've had with people over the years is in a world that tells you shouldn't feel guilty about anything. I think we're quick to dismiss any guilt feelings. And hearing what you guys have described as mom guilt, you know, obviously you shouldn't have to compare yourself to somebody else and what they're doing. Like, you know, like Erin, you said, we're looking at everybody else's highlight reels and we're seeing our real life. But how do you know, okay, is this a guilt that I shouldn't be feeling? Or is this something I should be convicted about that, you know, this is something that God's doing in my heart, or, you know, people he's put in my life that brought about this conviction where I do need to get better? How do you determine the difference between those? Because I think that's kind of what leaves me in a confused space is how do you determine the difference between that mom guilt that's unhealthy and godly conviction that leads to spiritual formation? And then for all the ignorant guys listening to the podcast, how do husbands help with something like that?
So I think one big clue for me is this just mom guilt I'm feeling, or is this conviction I'm feeling? Are my thoughts about whatever it is, are they circling around comparison to somebody else, or am I not comparing myself at all to anybody else? This is just a conviction or guilt that I'm feeling over this. Where I think it can get muddy is maybe I am comparing myself to somebody else, but maybe that's because I saw something in their life that I'm like, that looks right. As opposed to what I was doing. I think that's where it gets tricky, and just prayer and just inward reflection can help discern that.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that's good. So what about you guys? Thoughts on how you differentiate between godly conviction and unhealthy mom guilt?
I mean, I think Mary Beth pretty much hit it. Is did I just see some reels about something and then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I should be doing that for my kid, or I should, you know, we should, whatever it is, you know, and generally that's just mom guilt. That's just, that's comparison. That's, you know, it's not really, but if it's something to me, if it feels like it's a conviction that especially revolves around something with my child's spiritual formation, like then definitely I'm not like in my brain, I'm like, okay, that's not mom guilt. That's the Holy Spirit telling me like, hey,
does this thing really matter?
Right.
In the grand scheme of things,
exactly.
Does it really matter?
Right.
Yeah. And I think at what level does it matter? Right. Because I mean, this is not something that we have to deal with at the orchard. I have no idea if you guys listening to this podcast can hear the frog in the background. There's like a crazy loud frog right outside the room. So how much does it matter? At the orchard, we don't struggle with it, but like, okay, you want your kids in church. Okay. Well, if the doors to the church are open with an available program 6 out of the 7 days of the week, how many days should you have them there? You know what I mean? Like, so I think that there is, here's the word again, you know, balance to that. So I think that is good. Does this matter? Is this something I'm just comparing to? Is this helping my kid spiritually? Or, you know, and maybe this is more a dad thing than a mom thing, you know, what am I pushing my kid because of how it makes me look or because of what's good for them? You know, I know that's a big thing with dads in sports, but it's just as much of a thing with dads with school or with hunting or fishing or whatever, what does that reflect on me? What about you, Kaci? Thoughts on like differentiating between unhealthy mom guilt and godly conviction as we grow spiritually?
No, I mean, I think everything that she said is hit the nail on the head. Like it was perfect.
Good. Well, don't leave us hanging though, because there are some guys that listen to this. At least, 4 or 5 of our dozen listeners have to be guys. What can husbands do to really kind of help our wives in this? Because the one thing I've been struck by is how many moms I've heard mention mom guilt. Like it's just, everybody talks about it now. It just seemed like overnight, boom, it's a thing.
I'm pretty sure 99% of moms struggle at some point have felt a sense of mom guilt in some area of their lives. I think one thing for husbands is, I mean, I'll brag on mine. Jesse, man, he will talk. That boy is not afraid of a conversation. And he, if he sees, I mean, if you pay attention to your wife, you're going to see it. You're going to see her stressing about the balance, and you can really just pay attention to her. You'll see. And he, check in with him, be like, hey, I can tell you're straight. Like, what can I do to help? Being willing to have that conversation and not just have the conversation, but be willing to step in and do what they can to help. Because sometimes this might not be every mom, but I was a single mom for 8 years. So I'm very independent in a lot of ways because I had to be.
So independent, she sets her own work schedule. That's great. You walked right into that one, Erin.
But so especially at the start when Jesse and I got married about 5 years ago, I had a hard time asking for help because I just was so used to, I just did it. I had to do it all. It was just, and so I've gotten better about asking for help, but sometimes we don't want to have to ask for help. So it's nice when, if he can see, if he might, I mean, it might just be one comment that I say to him, not even anything bad, just I say something a certain way and he's just like, hey, you good? Like, and he'll check in but he won't just check in though. Like if he notices that I'm having a hard week because I got a lot going at work and we got extra events and there's a lot
giving you a lot of stuff at the office.
He's making me work on a Sunday, like that kind of thing. But he tries, he doesn't just talk to me about it and like check in with me, but he actually physically tries to do things to help me balance everything and then take some of the things off of my plate so that my plates can get back to spinning like how they should. And so that's my biggest advice. I think some men out there, I'm not trying to bash men, but I think they can tell that their wife's upset and some either just ignore it or they might have the conversation, but they won't have any follow through.
Won't do anything with it.
It won't do anything with it.
One of the things, I've heard guys talk about and, around this idea is like when we say that we'll do anything for our wives, we mean take a bullet or kill a dragon, not do the laundry.
Another term I feel like that goes with this that is similar to mom guilt that I feel like all moms have definitely heard and seen is the term mental load.
100%.
And I think husbands understanding the mental load that wives carry on a daily basis, which is a visual, you mentioned it, is like you have 50 tabs open all the time in your brain all the time. With like, there's a YouTube video running that you can hear the audio in. Like it's all there that you're constantly thinking about. And so I think mental load, realizing your wife carries a lot of mental load and helping when you can and where you see you can. And then having grace for when things get forgotten or dropped. Chad is very good about showing me grace if I forget something. I forgot something really big recently that I don't really want to talk about. But he...
Kaci, you're laughing. You're not making this any better because I'm not.
Because Kaci knows what it is. And I will gladly share off air, but I'm not going to share. So anyhow, it definitely was something that did not just affect me, but would affect him also. And he was very gracious and, understanding and reassured me that it was okay.
First and second
It was fine. Hush.
She is throwing you under the bus.
Kaci off the top rope. My Lord.
This just shows how amazing Chad is.
Yes. So, and Chad, people who know our family know because of Chad's work schedule that he's worked our entire marriage. There are times that he literally physically cannot be there to help alleviate a lot of those stressors. So being able and willing to show me grace when I fall short is very helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it. So, any last thoughts on like mom guilt, balance, anything like that you think is helpful for the other moms or husbands that are out there listening to this?
I think for moms just to know like that you're not alone and that it's okay to ask other moms or your friends or your husbands. Like if you just have to be open and honest with them about what you're going through so that way they can help you through it and maybe like give you guidance on things.
Yeah.
And so that you're not alone in any of it.
Yeah. I heard somebody saying, I think we've mentioned it on the podcast before, that everybody has their own bag of rocks they carry through life. Some people are born with more rocks than others. A lot of us make stupid decisions and add rocks to our bag on our own, but we all have our own bag of rocks, right? And the best that we can do is just find people to walk with us and walk alongside others. And I think that's why, getting with other moms, having good friends, just taking time to talk about things is good and helpful. And not in a way like I think pop culture wise, like sitcoms, stuff like that has kind of made it, that's just like we get together and complain or we get together. Like, no, that's not what I've seen. And granted, I have a limited perspective of, the people that I'm closest to through the church or whatever. Like what I've seen is those be healthy conversations and those be like, hey, we're all there. We're all in that boat. No, he was being an idiot then. No, you should cut him some slack then, I think that's important to have and to look for.
Yeah. And not just those friends that are going to be like, oh, yes, you're always in the right. Like, like the ones that are going to be open and honest with you and be like, no, you really messed up. Like that was not.
Yeah.
Like when Kaci said twice. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that is good. So, well, we appreciate you guys taking time to sit down and have a good conversation for moms. Cause sometimes the conversations that we have on the podcast can be skewed a little bit more to hunting and fishing stories or baseball beef or whatever. But, so having some other conversations is helpful. And, I hope it was helpful to you guys listening as well. We are zeroing in on 100 episodes and maybe you want to make sure you're listening and subscribed when that comes because maybe there'll be some stuff given away. Never know. Have to see. But for right now, we'll catch you next week on Let's Talk About That.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Let's Talk About That. We hope it encouraged and challenged you as we continue to grow on this journey of faith and embrace community together. If you have any questions, thoughts, or feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us through our social media channels or visit our website to stay connected. Your support is what makes this podcast impactful. If you found today's discussion meaningful, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, share the episode with a friend, and leave a review. Your engagement helps us spread the message and connect with others who can be encouraged through these conversations. Until next time, we hope this episode inspired you to live out your faith this week. Keep the conversations alive and remember we're all on this journey together.